Alright?
Yeah, not bad.
All good? Yeah. Cool. Chris, can we start with team news? Jack Robinson, your captain, limped off on Sunday. How is he and what are we looking like in terms of team news?
Yeah, we'll give him every chance to be involved at the weekend, but obviously he rolled his ankle, so getting that swelling down and hopefully getting him back out on the grass. So it's going to be a late decision, but hopefully we'll get Jack back. I think everybody knows what we think about him here at the football club, supporters. Great character and a warrior, so he'll want to play. We'll want him to play, but just got to make sure that we don't risk that if he does play, that he's out for a remaining part of the season. So still a few games to go.
There's been another development at the bottom of the table this week with Everton's points deduction added an extra 2 points. I just wondered how difficult it is for a manager of a Premier League club when there is so much uncertainty and the goalposts keep moving at the bottom. It
ain't really uncertainty for us. The certainty is concentrating on our next game, so I'm going to get involved in anything like that, Tim. Our full focus is on Brentford, not about anything else. What's happening in the division, from my point of view, from the club's point of view, what will be. Decisions will be made, and my full focus and the players' full focus is the prep into a really tough afternoon at Brentford on Saturday afternoon.
The recent performances have been very good, but how big an opportunity are these next two games against Brentford and Burnley to keep yourselves in the fight to stay up?
Yeah, we're on the roll, aren't we? Unbeaten in what? Unbeaten in one. So listen, the performances have been good, the attitude's been good, even in defeat at Liverpool. We want to keep that going. We want to produce another big performance. We've had to produce big performances in all of those games, whether Bournemouth, whether it was Fulham at home, Liverpool away, and Chelsea at home. So we'll need that type of performance to give us any opportunity of getting a result at Brentford.
Well, your focus will be on that game. At the same time, this weekend, the Masters is going on, the golf. I know you love your golf. And Matt Fitzpatrick, hopefully flying the flag for Sheffield United. Have you been in touch and will you be watching?
I will definitely be watching when I get that opportunity. I have been in touch and hopefully it goes well. He's a massive Sheffield United fan, so got to know him pretty well. I had the opportunity of going out there last year, but I took the Watford job. So I wish Matt all the best over the weekend. And hopefully he has a really good 4 days, and he's a smashing guy as well, down to earth Sheffield boy, as well as being an incredibly outstanding, talented individual.
Thank you.
Just a sort of a broader question about the injuries. I know at times we've asked you about certain individuals, and some of them might play again this season, might not. Are you remaining hopeful that some of that list, clearly fairly lengthy, might get a bit of football between now and the end of the year?
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to put a gun to their head to get back. It's, I think one of the things that we have had a look at in review and reflection is the risk and reward policy. So we have to make sensible decisions short term, regarding Jack. If that's not a sensible decision, I don't want to be risky in terms of that for a longer term suffer from our point of view, and it will be the same right the way through with the players that no doubt are on that list. But what I will say is the attitude of the players has been outstanding. The ones that are not playing, the ones that have been injured, whether they're long term, medium term, or short term, they all want to help the cause. They all want to come back into the group. They see a buzz about the group. The attitude of the group has been great, even though we had some disappointing days as well through that. It's something that I've never really criticised at length. We can criticise performances, but overall the attitude of the group has been spot on, and what you'll find is those boys are working extremely hard, morning, noon and night, away from the lights, to get themselves back, and then hopefully when they come back they'll add to the squad.
How has that been a challenge? Is that a difficult thing to make sure that the players' attitudes remain on point, or is it just kind of within them?
No, it comes with the group. I've said all along when I first walked through the door that, you know, when you do go into certain different clubs that I've done in my managerial career, there's certain things that you need to sort out. We've had to sort out other things, maybe before an attitude and an application and a character one. So they've been a real good group to manage. They're a together group. You know, there's certain things that obviously we'd like to change along the way that I've talked to you about, but and generally, you know, I'm not having to put fires out amongst the group. So, you know, they've been pretty comfortable and easy to handle. And as I said, they're all desperate from that point of view to play, and all desperate to get back from injury, which is, you know, puts us in a good position.
Perhaps regardless of the ultimate result of the match, in terms of performances in the last month or so, are you now starting to see what you wanted to see from the team in the running?
Well, I'd like to have seen it a little bit earlier, and I'd like to have seen us be more consistent with it. But we are getting into a bit of a rhythm, bit of a pattern. Listen, there's certain aspects of the performance which we surely can get better at. But there's been a lot of positivity around it, and I think if you've seen all 4 games, the supporters, I'd like to think of like what they've seen as well. we have to marry that up in terms of trying to get big results. I suppose that's the most difficult aspect of it, really, in terms of we've not turned them draws into certain wins, and maybe a losing position at Liverpool into a draw, but there's still big asks, and if you're off it a little bit, you know, you do get punished, which we have done. But, you know, I've got to say the feel of the game, especially, you know, if we just look at Sunday's game and Sunday's fixtures, Sunday afternoon at Bramall Lane, you know, I've got to say I'm not a massive fan of Sunday games, and sometimes they come with a little bit of lethargy, a little bit of, you know, from everybody. It's a Sunday afternoon, it's a game of football, which is different to a Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock or a night match. But I thought that the whole feel of the game, right from the off, was excellent, and it didn't feel, Andy, that it was a feel of a team with a point situation that we had against the top side. It felt really good. The performance was good. The energy from the crowd was amazing for the players. The players' performance galvanised and set the supporters on their way, and they gave us a real big push towards the end of the game to try and get back into it. So for me, you know, that sort of positivity we need to keep going. Yeah, would have liked it a lot earlier. Would have liked it to a little bit more consistent, but we're working in the here and now, and we can only go on what hopefully we can produce on Saturday afternoon.
Is that, I wonder, because not just for the fan base but for the players as well, confidence is kind of infectious, isn't it? So a little bit of something goes right that leads to a little bit of something more, and then all of a sudden it just builds and builds and builds.
Yeah, of course, and the same going the other way. When something goes the other way, it has a certain effect, and you know, we went through that period with the home games where, you know, it just went from one to the other pretty quickly. In there, as I've talked about at length, and won't carry on talking about it, and there was a cup game involved in that as well, but you know, it moved pretty quickly from a disappointing point of view. We had to arrest that, which we did after the Arsenal game. And you know, when you get going forward and you're moving forward, we don't want to take that backward step, and we want to keep improving, and we want to keep it moving forward.
Brentford then next, drawn a lot recently. What's your impression of them?
Yeah, you know, I've been incredibly impressed with Thomas. We've known him since the Championship days. Obviously, we were battling it out for a couple of seasons with them, and I'm delighted that, you know, they got their rewards, and they changed the way they played a little bit. They were smart in terms of that, and you know, obviously the Ivan Toney issue. You know, I had Ivan as a young player at Northampton. We moved him on to Newcastle, so I never gave him his debut, but he played for us in a short period that he was there, and you could see what he had in the locker. It took quite a while for that all to be put together, which sometimes happens as a young player. But they've got some outstanding individuals, extremely hard-working, a together group, an organised group, a disciplined group. I think you've got to give them huge congratulations and praise for, you know, getting through that first season in the Premier League, getting through that second season, and I should imagine, you know, they'll be looking to cement themselves in the Premier League for third year on the spin.
Yeah.
Not a glamour club, but hard working. I like that. You know, together I like that, and I've got a really good manager that's on the front foot. So we understand the challenges that game's going to pose for us.
Just to kind of, because I didn't know about the Tony thing, but just to marry sort of seeing him as a young player, obviously with the lads that you've got coming through now. How much is it a sort of a scientific coaching process, ticking boxes to go, right, this lad's ready, in addition to gut feeling? Because Newcastle obviously felt something about the lad because they took him.
But it took them quite a while for them to get him going, and they didn't get him going.
It's strange, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what you have to deal with young players. I've got to say, we've just had the conversation out there about an hour ago about our two young players. Like, you look at Jebison and you look at Willasula and the characteristics they've got. Number 9s, modern day centre forwards. You know, that are strong, powerful, can run and athletic. And obviously, I haven't had all those tools. Putting him together, and I'm not saying our two boys will go on to have the career that Ivan's had, but it's been a while coming, and he'll possibly be the first to admit that. You know, loan spells here, there, and everywhere. Obviously, he found home at Peterborough, and a very good one, and developed off the back of that, and then obviously got his move, and you know the numbers that you're talking about, and being in the England squad, but. With the young players comes time and patience as well. So there is, yeah, you're right, a gut feeling when to put them in, when to bring them out. We have to manage that. I've just had a conversation with Brooksy about that as well. You know, we're talking to our young players all the time. So there's a scientific way that you can do it and have a look at that. More often than not, I'll use my gut feelings and experience of when to play them and when to pull them out and how to deal with them, when to put them arm around them, when to maybe they need to be fired into a little bit. But still comes the time and patience bit from everybody, and because you're going to make mistakes, and I'm sure Ivan did as a young player, but if somebody believes in them, which we believe in our young players, then hopefully they'll come through and progress, and we're all looking for it to be now. Of course, we're all looking for it to be in the next 6 and 12 months. But like I say, it's a great example to our players and everybody connected to the football club that, you know, this might take a little bit of time with the young uns.
So, thank
you.
Cheers.
Hey, Ivan.
Yeah, not quite as talented. Quick over the first yard though, Chris.
Good stuff.
So, just talking about the youngsters, I'm thinking you are where you are in the table. It doesn't lie over a season, of course.
Yeah.
But you are showing some positive signs. Some of the younger players coming through.
Yeah.
Local lad too. Are these positives you're starting to cling to at the moment?
Yeah, I was when I first walked through. I knew the quality of the academy historically and what they were producing now. So. Yeah, there is talked a lot of times in the press conferences about the pathways open, and it's something that we definitely have to be good at and keep being good at in the academy and their development and pathway into the first team group. Always, they've got to be good enough. They can't be session records. We can't just put players into the first team group if they're going to collapse and not be good enough. So they have to be good, and they have to have the right qualities for them to progress their careers. But we feel as a football club we're in a good place, and we'll keep producing those players for hopefully a number of years.
Yeah, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger and all of that. So what experiences are you taking from this difficult season that might actually make you stronger when you come back?
Yeah, of course, you're always learning about the players. You're learning, about the football club. It's something I'm being heavily involved in over sort of eight years, give or take. A couple of years away. So I know how it ticks. I feel I know what's required. So we're reflecting and reviewing, because sometimes it changes direction a little bit. So we'll get it into the direction that I want it to go in, with the help of the chief exec and the board and everybody connected to the football club. So we're always learning. We're always looking at players. Of course, there's still a lot of football to be played this season, and we're fighting, we're punching, we're swinging. We're having a go, which I like and I enjoy. And there's still a lot of points to play for. And then, medium and long term is where the club develops in terms of the academy and how it progresses, and our future after this season, because the club, as I keep saying, the club won't die whatever happens this season. We all love it to end up in the way that we all want it to end up, but we have to recognise that that might not happen, and we have to be ready for whatever comes next season, and we will be.
Brentford have gone 9 without a win in the Premier League. Is that a stat that encourages you or worries you?
No, listen, they're a committed group. There's a committed manager. They'll see this as a great opportunity. Their supporters and their players, but Thomas will give us the respect that we deserve. He'll give us the respect because he's a proper football manager, and he knows the game and he knows how tough it is. So yeah, they're going through a little bit of pain, but they'll see this as an opportunity to get those 3 points to really, stretch the gap at the bottom of the table. And as I said, they've had 2 fabulous years in the Premier League, and maybe this year's season is not the way that they would have all loved it to have gone, but they've still got a great chance of retaining Premier League status, which is still a big achievement for Thomas.
And the other Ivan has gone 7 without a goal. Again, not something you want to think about too carefully.
Yeah, well, we'd like it to go 10 and we'd like it to go 8. I suppose that's the most simplistic way we'd want it to be. But we, like I said, for us to stop them as a team, for our defenders or our team to stop Ivan scoring, we're going to have a good day, and we're going to have to do a lot of things right, because his record speaks for itself. His progression, as we talked about in the last 2 or 3 seasons at Brentford, has been brilliant, and I'm delighted for him. But hopefully he can wait till after Saturday to start regaining his goal scoring form.
And head to head, coach to coach, you've actually done pretty well against Thomas in recent experiences. What's your secret there?
No. Listen, there's no secret. There's a few clubs I haven't done very well against, so it evens itself out. But no, they've always been really good games. Remember a couple of games in the Championship, game at our place when we had a man sent off. So been really close calls. But it's something that when you look at a club and you don't want to copy a club, we are Sheffield United, and we want to be Sheffield United and be good at everything that we're about. But there's certain things that we're all learning about still. And I look at Brentford and I like what I see. When we're sort of looking at best practice for our club, and I go, what's best practice, and you can't best practice on Chelsea or Liverpool or Manchester City or Manchester United or Arsenal. You got to look at clubs, what they're doing from a footballing point of view relative, and I like what they're doing, and I think they've been very successful at what they want to achieve and what goals they want to achieve. So I think it's a smart manager, and obviously it's a smart football club.